Tonight, CBC News has learned Transport Canada was warned WestJet's decision to reduce legroom was a potential safety hazard.
How's your seat, honey?
This is terrible.
More than uncomfortable, internal documents show a flight attendant reported it could be dangerous.
I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated.
Weeks before the airline reversed course. Tiger Woods arrested for impaired driving after crashing his car.
Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment.
What it means for the legendary golfer's comeback plans. The Blue Jays are back.
It feels like we never left, to be honest.
The sky-high hopes and expectations after last year's magical World Series run.
From CBC News, this is The National with Lindsay Duncombe.
Thanks for joining us. Erica is away. We begin tonight with a CBC News exclusive, a warning to Transport Canada from one of WestJet's own employees who sounded the alarm over a lack of legroom on some flights, calling it an imminent safety risk. Last year, WestJet opted to add an extra row on some planes. The decision sparked backlash and a viral video of a passenger jammed into his seat. Tonight, documents obtained by CBC News show a flight attendant flagged the seats as dangerous weeks before the airline announced an about-face. Julia Wong has the details and why it's left some passengers frustrated action wasn't taken sooner.
How's your seat, honey?
This is terrible.
A lighthearted tone, but behind it, potential safety concerns. In early January, Lindsay Noble and her 6'3" tall husband Rob boarded their WestJet plane for a roughly 5-hour flight to Regina.
His knees, if we hit turbulence, are going to get cracked up against this metal. Second, there's no way that he could actually get into the brace position.
About 2 months ago, WestJet announced it was reversing course on adding an extra row of seats on 43 planes, sacrificing passenger space.
Dad, could you just straighten out your legs there?
Impossible.
After videos showcasing the squeeze went viral. Now, documents obtained by CBC News through an access to information request reveal about a month before those viral videos, a flight attendant alerted Transport Canada to an imminent safety risk on reconfigured planes. The warning, also flagged to WestJet, outlined an incident in December where a tall passenger became physically trapped in their seat. It raised concerns about whether passengers could self-evacuate and called for it to be addressed proactively and for a prompt review. Transport Canada responded to the attendant, saying it followed up with WestJet and was satisfied the airline was assessing this hazard.
Your knees digging in.
That does not satisfy Noble.
I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. I can't believe that you ignored something that involves passengers' safety. That's why you exist.
This professor says he's not surprised by how Transport Canada handled the complaint.
It's a really discretionary matter as to whether they find anything of substance to move forward with it or not.
In a statement, Transport Canada would only say it prioritizes passenger safety and stress that legroom is not federally regulated.
And Julia, what is WestJet saying?
So WestJet would not comment on the specific complaint, but in a statement, it says modifications were made in accordance with Transport Canada's airworthiness standards. It says 3 out of 21 already reconfigured planes have been converted back and says the rest are expected to be done by the end of the year.
Thanks, Julia. That is Julia Wong outside the Edmonton International Airport tonight. Tiger Woods is facing a charge of driving under the influence tonight after he crashed his SUV in Florida earlier today. He was arrested and taken to jail. As Katie Nicholson shows us, this is not the first time the world-renowned golfer has had trouble with the law.
The Land Rover lying on its side, another bump in Tiger Woods' long, troubled road.
Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment.
Police say Woods was speeding down this narrow road near his Florida home when he tried to pull around a much larger utility truck, clipped it, and rolled. Woods was the only one inside and wasn't injured.
Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew triple zeros, but when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage, and refusal to submit to a lawful test.
Not long after the crash, the U.S. president weighed in.
Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man, but some difficulty.
Once one of the sports world's most well-liked and well-paid athletes, the legendary golfer, now 50, has spent more than a decade in a vicious cycle of scandals and comebacks. In 2021, Woods had to be pried out of this SUV and nearly lost his leg after a crash in L.A. He'd been going nearly twice the speed limit when he lost control.
Do you understand?
The five-time Masters champion was busted in 2017 for a DUI after he was found asleep in his car in the middle of a Florida highway. Toxicologists found 5 drugs in his system. But it was Woods' first crash that tarnished his squeaky clean public image after his then-wife learned he had been cheating. There was a fight. Woods peeled away and drove right into a tree. There was an apology.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior.
Plagued with injuries, Woods has rehabbed his body, his image, and his career many times. He had just been weighing a return to the PGA Tour.
I want to play.
Where he has racked up 82 wins over the years. Now, once again, he may be in the rough. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
The Toronto Blue Jays are back in action tonight, hosting the Athletics after last fall's unforgettable run to Game 7 of the World Series. This opening day feels different. As Jamie Strachan shows us, the hunger is still there for the players and the fans.
The boys of summer are back.
Well, I mean, it feels like we never left, to be honest.
And that's a strikeout for Gosman.
It feels like we're getting ready for Game 8. You know, obviously there's no Game 8, but yeah, you know, it's kind of a nostalgic feeling.
He strikes out the side.
Opening day is all about new beginnings and fresh starts. But last year's incredible playoff run still lingers. The Jays captured Canada's attention, pushing the powerhouse Dodgers to a Game 7, coming inches from winning the team's first World Series since 1993.
It's not going to define us, right? It's not going to define me, Vlad, you know, anyone here. That last year is not going to define us.
On the field, there's been some changes. All-star Bo Bichette is gone. But the Jays were one of the biggest spenders in baseball this offseason, lavishing millions on pitchers Dylan Cease, Cody Ponce, and Japanese slugger Kazuma Okamoto.
We believe we're the best team in baseball, and you know, we got a lot to prove this year.
For fans, as this franchise kicks off its 50th Major League Baseball season, it's been a while since there was so much optimism on opening day. The team is expected to win, and a return trip to the World Series is not out of the question.
I've never been this excited over a baseball season in my life. Opening day is a national holiday.
We will love them no matter what, but the outside world is watching us now. The outside world knows Canada's here.
The bond between this team and its fans across the country is real, reinvigorated by last year's magical World Series run.
Truly feel like an honorary Canadian. I love it here. I really do. I would love to play here for, you know, the rest of my career.
This new season, a chance for new stories and hopefully a different ending. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
U.S. lawmakers are demanding answers from the Trump administration about why a Canadian man was detained at the border and forced to provide a DNA sample.
They explained, sir, if you don't give us a DNA sample, we can charge you.
I read the story on Saturday and was outraged because I grew up in that area.
Democratic Representative for Michigan, Debbie Dingell, and the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee called it a hostile and arbitrary treatment that could further damage U.S.-Canada relations. Kevin Larson, who lives in Ontario, tried to enter the U.S. last October, telling U.S. border officials he planned to attend an anti-Trump rally in Michigan. After taking his DNA, they turned him away. Financial markets slid again, the worst streak of losses in nearly 4 years as the war in the Middle East drags on. This despite Donald Trump saying he's delaying a threatened strike on Iran's civilian power grid and again suggesting the war is going according to plan.
By the way, we're doing really well in Iran, just so you understand. You know, I mean, how good is our military? How good is our military?
The markets, however, are pricing in more pain. Today alone, the S&P 500 dropped more than 100 points, 1.6%, while the international benchmark for oil, Brent crude, closed at more than $114 a barrel. That's up a whopping 6%. And if you look at what's happened since the war began, the picture is more extreme, with the S&P 500 down more than 7%, Brent crude rocketing up more than 57%. So let's go to Peter Armstrong. Peter, these are pretty stark numbers. What are the markets telling us?
You know, markets see a situation that's getting worse every day. They don't see any viable off-ramps, and still, they're only down, what, like 8% since the start of the war. And a lot of people say, given the gravity of the situation, they should be down by more. I mean, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde told The Economist, we're facing a real shock that is probably beyond what we can imagine at the moment.
So let's decode that. What does she mean?
Yeah, she means we're looking at an unprecedented hole in energy markets. Something like 500 million barrels of oil are already offline. We're losing at least another 10 to 15 million a day. Meanwhile, the last ships that got out before the war started, they're still at sea, chugging towards destinations in Korea and Japan. Once they dock and unload, that's when we're going to start seeing actual physical shortages.
But at the same time, we have Canada saying we'll get more oil to market, and other countries, the United States, Japan, are releasing oil from their strategic reserves. Will any of that help?
I mean, a little. The International Energy Agency countries, they say they're going to release like 400 million barrels. But that top line, that's not the one that matters. What they should be paying attention to is what they call the flow rate, how much will be released at a time. And it's probably only going to be around 3 million barrels a day. So really, it's a Band-Aid.
So, Peter, we could be looking at long-term impact here.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue, right? These shortages, they're going to hit differently in different areas. Poor countries in the global south are going to literally struggle to power their grids. We're already seeing panic buying of gasoline in like Pakistan and the Philippines. In the global north, it's going to be much higher gas prices. We're only just starting, but I just saw one report of diesel in the province of Quebec selling for $2.65 a liter.
That is Peter Armstrong in Toronto tonight. Nearly a month into the war, the U.S. Secretary of State suggested it would end in a matter of weeks, but it wasn't clear how. And as Briar Stewart shows us, across the region, the toll continues to mount.
As crews carry out the grim work of retrieving the dead from this apartment building in Tehran, it's torment for those looking on. It's still impossible to turn away. Claims that only military areas are targeted and not residential areas are completely false, said the head of the Iranian Red Crescent. According to the UN, around 1,500 civilians have been killed since the U.S. and Israel started launching strikes nearly a month ago.
Please welcome the teams of Iran.
In a pre-match tribute before a game in Turkey, members of Iran's soccer team held these small backpacks in remembrance of the dozens of children killed in a strike on a school at the start of the war. In Geneva, the UN Human Rights Council held a special session on that strike at the request of Iran. The U.S. says it's investigating while accusing Tehran of targeting civilian areas and infrastructure in the Gulf and in Israel.
We are achieving all those objectives. We are ahead of schedule on most of them, and we can achieve them without any ground troops, without any.
The U.S. Secretary of State suggesting that thousands of Marines and paratroopers now heading to the region are only there to help maintain options. That's not the case for Israel's invasion into Lebanon, where more troops have now pushed into the southern part of the country. Israel says it's creating a defensive buffer. But UNICEF says the violence has uprooted 20% of the population, displacing nearly 400,000 children. As for Iran, tens of thousands have left the country over the past month, including many who came by train to Turkey.
The situation in Iran is every day is going to worse, I think.
We've concealed this man's voice and we aren't using his name because he fears reprisal.
Because if the war continues, everything crack down, like the factories don't produce or anything else, and especially for the gasoline.
Which is why he, like so many others, are hoping the war will end soon and people can return to a more peaceful Iran.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said he expects there will be meetings with Iran this week. Right now, any of the discussions going on are being done through intermediaries.
So, Breyer, from the U.S. side, there's at least the appearance of negotiations, but that's not the signal we're getting from Israel or Iran.
Well, no, and Iran keeps sending missiles into Israel. At least one person was killed in the central part of the country today. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister has accused Israel of striking two of the country's largest steel factories, a power plant, and what he described as civilian nuclear facilities. And the U.S. has said that it will pause strikes on energy sites until April 6th as these talks continue.
Okay, that's Breyer Stewart in Diyarbakir, Turkey. Federal New Democrats are gathering in Winnipeg tonight, ready to select a new leader this weekend. The future of the struggling party hangs in the balance. David Thurton is there and breaks down the challenges ahead.
Hundreds of New Democrats are in Winnipeg to pick a new leader. They're focused on rebuilding a party struggling.
It's a pivotal time in our party's history.
The party right now is not at a great spot, but there's also a lot of opportunity for renewal.
The federal party bringing out its most popular provincial politician to rally the crowd.
So in order for us to have a strong Canada, we need a strong federal NDP.
But right now, the NDP is weak. It holds just 6 seats in the House of Commons, down one after Nunavut MP Lori Idlout crossed the floor just weeks ago. And the party is deeply in debt, some $13 million owing.
So looking at 2026 overall, our financial position remains stable, but again, like I said, it is tight.
And then there's the polls. A new Abacus data survey shows more than half of the respondents say the NDP is not relevant.
Right now, when we look at the polls, we see single digits, low double digits sometimes.
It'll be up to a new leader to take all of this on. Former leader Jagmeet Singh lost his seat, his party taking a moment to honor him, Canada's first racialized party leader. In total, 5 candidates are running to be the NDP's next leader. 2 have emerged as frontrunners with very different visions for the future. Edmonton MP Heather McPherson.
We see how working class Canadians are being left behind. I'm the only one in this race that is a member of Parliament and that can start doing work on day one.
And filmmaker and activist Avi Lewis.
Something is wrong in our economic arrangement in Canada, and we need a voice for the 99% to actually fight for those solutions.
Whoever wins faces a monumental task, rebuilding the party financially and trying to turn it into a competitive option for Canadians. David Thurton, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The countdown is on. Astronauts are ready for liftoff at the Kennedy Space Center, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen.
I feel a great sense of pride for Canada.
The final phase of the long-awaited Artemis II moon mission next. Plus, the most decorated Moguls skier in the world has just one more race left in his career.
My goal, was to win the Olympics and retire.
Why Canada's Mikaël Kingsbury says now is the time to hang up his skis. And how an Ontario community stepped up for a local pizza joint after it got bombarded with bad reviews.
It ended up turning into a very, very positive thing for the community and for us.
We're back in 2. Final preparations are underway for NASA's Artemis II moon mission. Astronauts, including Canada's Jeremy Hansen, arrived in Florida today. Delays have pushed the launch until next week at the earliest. Tanya Fletcher now on the historic mission set for liftoff.
The Artemis II crew touches down on the very ground where liftoff is set to be in T-5 days.
Hey, let's go to the moon! I think the nation and the world has been waiting a long time to do this again.
The anticipation for the first human space mission in decades, evident by the crowds of well-wishers gathered to greet them.
So it's pretty cool to get to see the astronauts before they go.
She's here because she's inspired to be an astronaut someday and explore the universe. I'm to the moon, you know?
The arrival of the 4 astronauts, including a Canadian, at the Kennedy Space Center marks the closest moment yet to launching. Until now, the mission has been plagued by fuel leaks and other issues, causing months of delays.
It has been a lot of work. It's been a great journey. Great to be down here in the Florida warm air. The vehicle looked amazing on the pad on the way in.
The vehicle he's referring to, the Orion capsule atop the rocket that'll carry the 4 on a mission around the far side of the moon.
Farther from Earth than any other humans have ever been, even in the Apollo days. And so, yes, we've been to the moon back in the 60s and 70s, but this is a historic day in that it is the next step in putting boots back on the surface.
And they're not stopping there. This week, NASA unveiled a fresh plan for a moon base that it intends to build under the Artemis program. By 2028, they're aiming for 1, possibly 2 lunar landings.
I feel a great sense of pride for Canada.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen will be the first non-American to travel into deep space.
It is time to continue to evolve our vision as Canadians. You know, what can we continue to do? What can we do next? The point's not being the first, it's making sure you're not the last.
NASA has the first 6 days of April to launch the rocket. The H.R. MacMillan Space Center behind me here is one of several locations around the world hosting watch parties, leaving all fingers crossed for an all systems go. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.
And when the Artemis II crew blasts off to their historic mission to the moon, CBC News will be there. Starting Tuesday, Ian Hannah-Mansing leads our special coverage from the Kennedy Space Center. That is the night before the first possible launch. Canadian 5-time Olympic medalist Mikaël Kingsbury says he's ready to retire.
Mikaël Kingsbury will be your Olympic gold champion!
The storybook ending to his Moguls career. And the war in the Middle East has raised safety concerns here at home.
There's sleeper cells all over the world. They're in the U.S., they're in Canada here.
But are those fears warranted? What law enforcement officials are saying. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world next. The most decorated freestyle skier ever is retiring. Canada's Mikaël Kingsbury takes to the slopes tomorrow in his final professional Moguls race. As Sarah Levitt shows us, the greatest of all time is going out on a high.
He's ending his career where it all began. Sports legend Mikaël Kingsbury was just crowned the Canadian champion of men's moguls for the 14th time.
Mesdames et messieurs, Mikaël Kingsbury!
His final competition at the hill where he learned to ski in Saint-Sauveur, Quebec. Now, in an interview with CBC Sports' Devin Heroux, 33-year-old Kingsbury confirms he's retiring.
Every step in mogul skiing, checked. And, now I can say I won everything, and my goal, was to win the Olympics and retire.
Mikaël Kingsbury will be your Olympic gold champion!
That win, the cherry on top. Kingsbury is the most decorated freestyle skier in the world, making the podium a breathtaking 85% of the time he competed. From Pyeongchang to Milano Cortina, he amassed 5 Olympic medals.
Well, the thing with Mick is that he could keep skiing and win.
Following his success from the beginning, Jennifer Heil, a former freestyle skier herself, she was Canada's chef de mission in Milan.
As an athlete, as someone that has dedicated their life to the craft of being their best, he's just a different standard.
Now, though, Kingsbury has different priorities.
Obviously, to my family, yeah, it's pretty. I feel pretty lucky to, yeah.
In August last year, he and his partner Laurence welcomed Enrique into their lives. His family has traveled with him to competitions this season, including the Olympics. Wearing the maple leaf, he says, was among his favorite moments.
I'm proud to be Canadian and lucky to be Canadian.
On Saturday, he competes in dual moguls.
The king back on top.
The last run of a legendary career, one Canadians won't soon forget. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world.
These are firearms designed for war.
Ottawa says its gun buyback program will soon be mandatory, despite opposition across the country.
For Newfoundland and Labrador, hunting is part of our life.
Why the billion-dollar Liberal buyback isn't getting a big buy-in. But first, as the war in the Middle East enters its 5th week, is there reason to fear violence here at home?
There's sleeper cells all over the world. They're in the U.S., they're in Canada here.
Ifel Musa looks at what national security experts think about the risk potential in Canada.
There's sleeper cells all over the world. They're in the U.S., they're in Canada here.
From chilling high-profile headlines to shootings meant to send a message.
It's definitely a national security incident because we had the U.S. consulate, after all, struck by gunfire.
Analytics say the Google searches for terms like Iranian sleeper cell have been spiking in recent days.
Talk of Iranian sleeper cells is picking up traction. Operatives living quietly among civilians, waiting to be activated to stoke fear. Supposedly tasked with carrying out acts of violence and intimidation on our soil.
People who are active and visible in our community are not feeling safe.
But experts say a wide network of clandestine agents lurking in the shadows likely doesn't exist. But are Canadians still at risk?
It sounds a bit more Hollywood than it really is.
How do intelligence agencies define sleeper cell?
So a sleeper agent is an intelligence asset. And then they would be in a country, let's say like Canada, with covert communications and tradecraft knowledge and things like that. But it was pretty exclusive to the Russians. They were deep cover spies in countries like Canada, and they would spend most of their time basically just living their cover until there would be a war, let's say, against the Soviet bloc, and then they would conduct sabotage.
After the Iranian war broke out, the regime vowed revenge. A string of recent violent incidents here at home caused fear and panic. A gym in Thornhill, Ontario, draped in pre-revolution Iranian flags, was shot at 17 times. A number of synagogues in the GTA were peppered with bullets. And the most brazen, the heavily fortified U.S. consulate building in the heart of Toronto, targeted by gunfire. 2 individuals jumping out of a car in the middle of the night, spraying the front of the building. The notion of sleeper cells was brought directly to the attention of law enforcement.
I don't have any information to provide at this time on any sleeper cells that may or may not exist in Canada. Suffice to say that our CSIS counterparts and the INSETs across the country are actively investigating.
In a lengthy statement, CSIS tell CBC News they've been monitoring threats from Iran for many years and that a violent extremist attack remains a realistic possibility, with the most likely scenario being a lone actor inspired by the conflict in the Middle East.
When we get into countries like Iran, they don't use sleeper cells in that sense of deep cover agents. They use what we would call criminal proxies. They are going to keep a low profile. They're not going to go and shoot at a wall of a consulate. They're going to be tasked for something specific. These are people that would do surveillance, harass people, or try to kill people.
Not just ordinary people, but high-profile critics of the regime, like former Canadian Justice Minister Irwin Cotler.
They told me that you're not safe here.
Iranian-American journalist Masih Alinejad and former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton. Broderick MacDonald is a threat analyst who thinks Canada remains quite insulated from violent attacks.
Canada's in a relatively good situation for a number of reasons. Firstly, we have the Five Eyes intelligence sharing network, and that significantly helps us, to detect threats before they even arrive on our shores. The second part is that we have stayed out of this war wisely, and we have not engaged in wars of choice, to the greatest extent possible historically. This has been Canada's position. And I think that insulates us from the threat of Iran escalating against Canada.
But overt threats by Iran against civilians this past weekend, paired with misinformation on social media, is heightening stress.
There's a lot of confusion and disinformation happening already. To then sensationalize or expand the threat beyond what it is, I think that's irresponsible and potentially quite dangerous. It's one of the most polluted information environments that I've ever seen within a conflict.
I don't think it's helpful for politicians to say, we've got sleeper cells, we've got sleeper agents, and we must rout them out. There's a lot of anxiety here.
That anxiety highlights the need for balance between assessing real threats and having a clear understanding of the facts, especially when gaps in information can fuel uncertainty beyond the conflict itself.
And Ithil, perhaps with that anxiety in mind, Toronto police have taken a new step.
That's right, Lindsay. This week, the force said it's launching a dedicated counterterrorism unit to monitor high-traffic areas across the city, including places of worship, tourism sites, and critical infrastructure. It comes as Toronto prepares to host 6 FIFA World Cup matches in June.
But this new measure has drawn some criticism. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the issue is whether recent violence is more in line with run-of-the-mill crime or whether it suggests a real threat of potential terrorism. The Toronto Police Accountability Coalition that scrutinizes and debates police policy isn't persuaded there's a wider threat that justifies a counterterrorism unit. They also argue deploying police with semi-automatic rifles throughout the city is not going to make Toronto feel safer.
Thanks for this, Ithil. Ithil Musa in Toronto tonight. Fraudsters are using the name and image of a CBC News business reporter to target victims. Our CBC Fact Check looks at how they do it. As Avneet Dillon shows us, it's a scam.
This is Jenna Benchetrit. She's a senior business writer here at CBC News, but this article with her byline is fake. The whole article is a scam to take your money, and there's dozens of similar scams that use Jenna's byline and CBC branding. This one came from an ad on X, which linked to the fake story. It's clearly not the CBC News website. It promotes a fake investment app that links to this page with an attempt to get you to enter your personal info. It even includes a fake testimonial from Ryan Reynolds. The ad was posted by an X user named Gary Gray. If you click on his profile and the date he joined, you can see the account was connected via Russian Federation App Store. The user's location is listed as the Netherlands, but a warning indicates that the country or region may not be accurate and the account might be connected using a VPN. So Jenna, how many of these scam articles do people send you?
If it's a good week, I only get 2 or 3 links, but if it's a bad week, I might get over a dozen.
And what do you do with the links that you're sent?
I share them with the CBC legal team, and I usually notice within a couple hours or days they've been taken down.
If you're looking for real stories that Jenna has written, you can find them on the CBC News website. And if you see other fake CBC articles or scams, send us an email at ask@cbc.ca.
Canada offers owners cash to hand over assault-style weapons with an amnesty deadline later this year.
It's not going to have an impact on public safety in the city.
Why Ottawa's gun buyback plan isn't getting cross-country approval next. Ottawa's national gun buyback aims to get assault-style weapons out of communities. But despite a cash incentive, it faces roadblocks from gun owners and premiers.
If we're looking at taking away weapons from criminals, I'm all for that. But this program doesn't look like it's going to achieve that.
Sam Sampson breaks down the compensation, the criticisms, and the logistical challenges facing the program.
Ottawa says its gun buyback program can make Canada safer.
These are firearms designed for war.
But when gun owners
ends up being a pain in the butt for me and all the people who wanted to use these firearms.
Police.
It's not going to have an impact on public safety in the city.
And many politicians don't want it.
We're continuing to push forward to say that this shouldn't happen.
How much good can the program actually do? After 2020's mass shooting in Nova Scotia, Ottawa banned 1,500 guns it deemed military-grade assault weapons.
These weapons were designed for one purpose: to kill the largest number of people in the shortest amount of time.
The list grew. Today, more than 2,500 firearms have been reclassified, including many that were popular with hunters and sport shooters. Meaning suddenly, law-abiding Canadians owned illegal guns. As an incentive to turn them in, the federal government started its buyback program in January, the assault-style firearms compensation program. Canadians have until March 31st to declare banned firearms. The guns will be destroyed or deactivated, and the owners get cash. The lead-up wasn't smooth. Canada's public safety minister was caught on tape expressing doubts in the program, but suggesting it could gain Liberal votes in Quebec.
This is something that very much a big deal for many of the Quebec electorate that voted for us.
Still, Ottawa went ahead with it. Quebec was immediately on board. Everyone else, not so much.
If we're looking at taking away weapons from criminals, from people who are causing violence in our streets, I'm all for that. But this program doesn't look like it's going to achieve that.
For Newfoundland and Labrador, hunting is part of our life. That's why we're continuing to push forward to say that this shouldn't happen.
Almost every regional government has spoken out against the buyback program. In most areas, local police decide if they'll participate and collect the guns. Many won't, including Toronto Police, the city with Canada's highest rates of gun violence. The service says it'll instead focus on efforts where they have the greatest public safety impact, including targeting criminals who use illegal firearms, particularly those entering Canada from the United States.
Well, about 90% of the firearms we seized last year came from the U.S.
Toronto Police Association President Clayton Campbell has other ideas to address gun violence.
And more investments at the border. I think ongoing enforcement and money for gang and gun investigations, they're very complex and they're very expensive.
In places without local police support, the RCMP will collect these guns, everywhere except Alberta and Saskatchewan. Both provinces changed laws to block the program, so Ottawa says it won't run there, which means gun owners in those regions who sign up might not get paid. Still, people across the country have so far declared 52,000 firearms.
This is a GSG 16.
That doesn't include Edmontonian Adriel Michaud. He'll deactivate his banned guns, but wants nothing to do with the buyback program.
I would rather show my objection by not declaring. Hi folks, it's Adriel, the hunting gear guy.
The online creator also instructs federal courses required to get a gun license. He argues the program only takes property away from law-abiding citizens.
You're asking for me to give up my hobby, give up tens of thousands of dollars worth of firearms and do something else. Is the restriction to what I'm allowed to do or what I'm allowed to own, is that worth what we're getting on the other side?
It's kind of the curse of low expectations.
Joel Negan studies public health policy effects on firearm violence in Australia, a country that introduced a buyback program after a mass shooting in the 90s and is contemplating another after December's Bondi Beach massacre.
There's a substantial amount of firearm injury and firearm death that comes from people having access. But if the only intervention that a jurisdiction proposes is a gun buyback, I'm not convinced that that by itself is going to lead to a substantial reduction. We need to address the methods, the access, the motivations that lead to firearm violence.
That's all come up since tragedy hit northern BC. An 18-year-old in Tumbler Ridge shot family members, then opened fire at the local school, killing 8 people total, then shooting herself. She had an expired gun license, and police removed firearms from her home in the past due to mental health concerns. Those guns were later returned.
People are trying to politicize, what this is about. It's not about guns, it's about mental health.
Guns remain a major part of the RCMP's investigation into what happened, but they have yet to release what types of guns were used.
Lives are at stake.
Heidi Rathjen witnessed the École Polytechnique mass shooting in 1989. She and the gun control advocacy group Police Souvient say the RCMP needs to release the makes and models used to see if they're on the banned list.
The public, and especially the families of the victim, have a right to know what happened. I mean, we have a number of gun control measures now that are in the process of being developed and implemented. And yet, when we have a tragic case that could inform the adoption of these measures, the police is not being forthcoming.
How much should we be focusing on the buyback program when Tumbler Ridge highlights other gun laws that could be improved to address safety?
It's not one or the other. We have gang violence, we have domestic violence, we have mass shootings, we have shootings of police officers. It is all worthy to fight these things. We don't have to choose between them.
The grace period for those banned guns ends this fall. So even if gun owners don't want to get rid of them through the buyback program, they can't keep them. Otherwise, they risk charges for owning illegal guns.
Public Safety Canada says the amnesty period ends on October 30th. Canadian actor Simu Liu hit global stardom with his 2021 Marvel superhero role. Now he is set to make his debut on Broadway. Ian recently sat down with him in New York. Part of their conversation focused on what Liu sees as a lack of Asian representation on screen.
I don't think you should look at my career as an indicator of how, Asian representation is going just in the masses. I've been extremely blessed and I'm extremely fortunate to have this kind of job security of this, Marvel machine behind me, like, just to put it bluntly. I mean, the fact that we have these movies that come out that I play a character that has been, resonant for many, many years. It's not normal. And, if I were in any other movie that broke out in 2021 and did the numbers that it did, but didn't have this kind of continuing fan base and machine behind it, I would be out of work. I would be struggling. I would be, I think, auditioning for anything that, could come. And yeah, I am very fortunate. I'm working. I'm very happy to be working. But even I feel the kind of limitations of the industry and of the system that, quite honestly, just wasn't really built for my success.
So how do we fix that?
I think we have a lot of decision makers in the industry right now that are, quite honestly, just out of touch with what people actually want to see. There's a lot of movies out there that no one asked for and starring people that, the studios consider to be bankable stars or less risky, when there are incredibly talented and not risky people waiting at the wings that are unfortunately being passed over because, you have, again, these decision makers with a very traditionalist and very conservative mindset, which in art, you kind of never really want. You always want to be pushing the envelope a little bit. You always want to be taking some degree of risk and doing something unexpected,
And you can watch the full interview this Sunday right here on The National. Coming up, how an Ontario community rallied together for their local pizza shop.
They said, let's just start posting reviews for Leo's Pizza. Let's fix this review bomb situation.
The show of support next on Our Moment. You're looking at Damon Attai, the owner of Leo's Pizza in London, Ontario. He started worrying about his business when he got bombarded with negative Google reviews that appeared to be fake. But then his neighbors stepped in to help. Tonight, the community support makes Our Moment.
We're a family-owned business. I think they got the pizza industry in '98. It's been quite a while now. When my parents were in the business, there was no such thing as Google reviews. I got an email saying you have 9 one-star reviews, which has never happened before. I was trying to figure out who it was. So I thought maybe okay, if it is someone who's upset with me, how do I reach out to this person and fix this problem? The game plan was pretty much to post it online and try to find the person who's doing it. So I posted it online. I didn't find the person, but I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but Byron pretty much did quite the opposite of what I was looking for. They said, let's just start posting reviews for Leo's Pizza. Let's fix this review bomb situation. I think it was within like 24 hours, I had 130 new reviews. When I first got in the business, I thought, oh, I'm just gonna be a restaurant owner, you know? But when things like this happen, you kind of realize that you're more than just a restaurant owner. It ended up turning into a very, very positive thing for the community and for us.
They look pretty delicious to me. Although the reviews have been removed, Damon is still curious about who posted them. He says he's not mad, he just wants to make amends. From all of us at The National, thanks for being with us. I'm Lindsay Duncombe in Vancouver. Take care.